Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. As you can tell by the title of today's video, I want to share with you and break down my investment portfolio with you guys. I feel I have spoken about my investment portfolio a few times here on my channel, but I haven't actually consolidated my investment portfolio and talked to you about my net worth as a 26-year-old person living here in Australia. So if you are interested in finding out, then please keep watching. So firstly, let's talk very briefly about my investment journey and how it all really started and when I started to actually invest and put my money away into assets that grow quicker than inflation. So I started investing actually in 2018, mid 2018, and my first investment was cryptocurrency. Now, mid 2018, I had put away $4,000 into cryptocurrency and I did not know what I was doing at the time. I didn't actually know that I had purchased at a time where the market was heading into a bear market. So I had purchased at the highest point, and obviously in the next couple of months I saw that the market was decreasing, and by the end of that year I had seen my portfolio come crashing down to about $200. Now I know a lot of people will be like,
"See, told you so, that's what crypto's all about."
But let me tell you, I didn't sell because even though my portfolio had gone down to $200, I thought, what was the point of me selling at $200? It's not like I need the $200 anyway, so I decided to hodl. Now, hodl is hold on for dear life in the hopes that it does actually come back up. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I have still held on to that portion of my cryptocurrency. I did not sell. In fact, I haven't actually sold anything till date. So I have, continued to dollar cost average my way into the crypto market, and I continue to do so that I can potentially reap the rewards when it does come time to the bull cycle to end this year or potentially early next year. So given that mid 2018 was my first step into investing, a year and a half later, I obviously didn't purchase any more cryptocurrency because I was scarred, obviously. And after that point, I think about 2 years later, I then had enough money saved up to purchase my first investment property. So I purchased my first investment early 2020. This was in February, so just before the pandemic actually hit. And then I waited a couple of months later, about 10 months or so, to then purchase my second and third investment property. This is because the first property had actually appreciated in value, so I was able to extract the equity and use the majority of those funds to purchase my second and third property. Now, obviously during this time, I did not purchase any more cryptocurrency because I had no money, but it wasn't until early this year that I started to again dollar cost average my way in, and that's essentially what I've been doing, and obviously delving into the world of NFTs as well. So my investment portfolio consists of obviously real estate, it consists of cryptocurrency, and it consists of NFTs. So my entire investment portfolio has been around for about 3 to 4 years. And let's now talk about how much I own in every single asset. So let's get started. Now, the first one that I want to talk about is real estate. Okay, so starting off with my first investment property that I purchased, this was in regional Tasmania, and I had actually purchased this, as I said, pre-pandemic. I purchased this investment property for about $237,000. And now if I have a look at some sort of comparable sort of investment properties in the same area, same sort of land size, same number of bedrooms, I have seen that there are properties in this area, and I have obviously gotten the help of my buyer's agent as well. And if I was to sell this property today, I would get around $320,000 for this property. Now, what we need to do to identify my net worth and the equity that I actually have, because that's what it's all about, calculating the equity, I'm going to minus that off my loan. Now, my total loan value is about $209,000. So if we minus all of that up, we get a total of about $111,000 for my first investment property. Now, moving on to the second investment property. Now, the second one is actually a duplex. They're actually separate properties, but I do earn an income from both. So this investment property was the one that I actually purchased towards the end of last year. Now, I purchased this one for the same amount. This was $237,500, so only $500 more. And if I have a look at some comparables in the area, this would be valued around $280,000. Now, of course, we have to minus our loan to calculate equity. So my loan is a total of $219,000. So if we minus all of that up, we get total equity worth, if I was to sell it today, of about $61,000 in equity to use. Now, all up, if we calculate the equity from my first property with my second property, we get a total value of about $172,000. So that is my net position. If I was to sell today, that's how much money I would have. Now, moving on to cryptocurrency and NFTs. Now, with cryptocurrency, I have been purchasing since 2018. And when I started purchasing back then, I started investing from my personal portfolio. I obviously was just doing for personal gain. And since then, I have actually opened up a few more accounts because I am now obviously running my business, my company. So I actually have a company account that I use to trade my cryptocurrency. This just works out better in terms of tax purposes for me because I am now operating under a company, being, self-employed. So this just works out better for me. And I am also in the process of setting up my self-managed super fund, where I will actually talk about a little bit later on. So we're not up to that part yet. Now, in terms of my cryptocurrency breakdown, I have actually done a video on this in the past where I have broken down my portfolio and talk about some of the cryptocurrency that I had purchased. Obviously that has changed over time. I'm looking at more sort of altcoins at the moment, but it still sort of remains to be the same for the most part. Now, I'm not going to go through each coin by coin and talk through all of that because that's just going to get boring for you guys. But you all know in terms of my NFTs as well, I have purchased World of Woman, I have actually purchased Boss Beauties, and I have unfortunately purchased Halloween Bears as well, which is obviously not doing too well. So all up, my cryptocurrency and NFT portfolio till this date stands at $118,000. This has obviously been accumulated, and majority of it has actually been put through this year in January, as I told you guys. So that's that. Now, I also want to talk about super because when we calculate net worth, your super does get taken into consideration. Now, I wish I had set up a self-managed super fund earlier because I could have put that money through and I could have seen and I could have rode the wave with the bull cycle, but unfortunately it was not set up in that time. So with my super account, I currently have about $41,000 sitting in my super. This is my retirement fund, my 401k, depending on which country you're watching from. Now, in order to obviously calculate net worth, you do also take in your cash holdings as well. Now, cash holdings for me is not a lot. I personally don't like to hold too much cash. I am more of a person that would rather invest my money and have my money sitting in cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency is very easy to liquidate as well. So I'm happy to put that there, and I keep a track of my cryptocurrency on a daily basis, a few times a day in fact. So I feel comfortable in knowing that I am able to liquidate if I do need any money. So in terms of cash holdings, I only have about $4,000 sitting in my account at the moment. So we have now come to the time where we calculate my total investment portfolio. So if we add my real estate, if we add my cryptocurrency, my NFTs, my superannuation, and my cash holdings, I have about $335,000 in terms of equity. If I was able to liquidate everything, I would have $335,000 at this very moment. Now, that is my net position. Now, that is my investment portfolio, but that is not my net worth. My net worth, because I have had an education here in Australia, I have obviously, gone to university, so I have a HECS, which is my higher education fees that I do need to pay back to the government each year. So my HECS is currently sitting at about $35,000. So in order to calculate my net worth, so we minus total investments, minus my HECS, and that will give me my net worth. Now, I don't have any more liabilities, but this is also where if you do want to calculate your net worth, you would include liabilities. You would put in other loans, credit cards, anything like that, that you've got any debt outstanding or liabilities, you would include them here. But personally for me, I don't have any other liabilities. So coming to net worth. Now, my net worth is at a total of $300,000. That is my total investment minus my HECS, and we are at a round figure of $300,000. So there we have it. That is my net worth at 26 years old. I started investing only about 4 years ago, and I'm pretty pleased with where my portfolio currently stands, where my net worth currently stands, and I definitely aim to increase that over the next next few years. I am looking at, purchasing more properties when I can. Obviously, my business hasn't been operating for a year yet, but I do, mid next year, I hope to purchase more investment properties. Obviously, dollar cost average my way into the bear market, hopefully by that time, and then work my way up again into that 4-year cycle moving forward. So that's everything that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I really hope this provides you with, inspiration and really does sort of make you self-aware and think about your personal investments as well. I think it's very important to diversify your risk. And obviously, I've done a video on this before, but I think it's very important to obviously not rely on your 9-to-5 job, because I think people generally think your 9-to-5 is one of the most stable things in your life, but it's really not. You could lose your job tomorrow just like that, and you are back down to $0. So I think it's very important to obviously save some money, but don't save too much that you're sort of losing the value of your money in your savings account, because we all know the rate of inflation is definitely far higher than the return that we're getting from our savings account. So look at other options, diversify your income, and have a look at options that provide you with significant growth. So things like, ETFs, real estate, cryptocurrency, and whatnot. But I'm going to leave it here, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you in my next one. Thanks, guys.